Hi fashion lovers, welcome to Fun Fashion YouTube channel. Follow me as I show you how I made this simple free flare dress. I got my inspiration from Video B but decided to make mine fitted at the waist area. For the video C, I'm wearing an underskirt that made the dress flared. If you want to learn how I made the underskirt, tell me in the comment section and I will send you the tutorial. If this is your first time of dropping by, don't forget to subscribe. If you have not subscribed, turn on your notification bell so that you don't miss any tutorial. Hope you're ready. Let's dive in. With me here, I already have my pattern paper with some markings. Okay, so this side is going to be my front block. So this is the front block, and I'll be using that side for the back. I'll have to explain all these lines that I have already marked. I went ahead to mark my shoulder measurements. I have shoulder measurements of 14 divided by 2, which is 7. I've marked down 7 here. From shoulder, I have marked the chest line. So this is my chest line. And from shoulder, I also marked down my bust point. So this is my bust point. I went ahead to mark my under bust measurements. Okay, so this is my under bust line and my shoulder to waistline. So this is the half length, okay, for the front. And from the half length, I marked my hip line. That's the waist to hip line. Okay. And then my full length, the full length of the gown. I have full length measurement of 36 inches. So I've marked my full length. For the back, I also went ahead to mark the chest line, the back half length. I have back half length measurement of 15. My front half length is 1 inch longer than the back half length. Okay, so I also marked the waist to hip line, and then I have my full length. Okay, I have full length measurement of 35 because the front is 36. So why it is 35 is because my front half length is 1 inch longer than the back half length. So I have my back length 1 inch shorter than the front length. I also went ahead to mark my dart line. This is my dart line. That is nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So I have marked it down from the chest line down to the hemline. I also went ahead to mark my neckline for the back. I have basic neckline of 1 by 3 inches and also marked the shoulder slope for the back. I have shoulder slope of 1 inch for the back. I'll be starting with the front block. We'll draft the front block first before we draft the back block. Okay, for the front block, I also went ahead to mark my basic neckline, which is bust measurement divided by 12. Okay, I have 3 for mine because my bust measurement is 36. So I've marked down 3 by 3 inches, okay, to create a round neckline. Then for the shoulder slope, my front shoulder slope is 1.5. So I have created my shoulder slope. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to mark my armhole curve. So I will divide what I have left from the shoulder slope to the chest line by 2. And then on that midpoint, I'm going to be marking ½ inch inwards. Then I'll connect from this point to that ½ inch to the chest line to create my armhole curve. I also marked my dart line for the front. Okay, that is my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So we'll come to the under bust line and mark 2 inches. Okay, and then I'll connect it to the bust point. I'm going to be taking these 2 inches down to the hemline. Next thing I'm going to do now is to extend this my dart line to the shoulder line. So I'm going to divide what I have here from the armhole to the neckline by 2 and mark that as my midpoint. Okay, and I'll connect this dart to that point. So I'll blend it out to have something like this. Okay, so I'm going to be marking my horizontal measurement. I have bust measurement of 36 divided by 4. I have 9, so I'll mark down 9 inches. I'll come to the underbust line and divide my underbust by 4. I have underbust measurements of 28 divided by 4. I have 7. But I want to have enough underbust tightening. So I'm going to be falling back by half inch. Okay. Because I want my underbust to tighten enough. So what I'm going to do now is to replace this dart intake. Okay. I am going to be trimming off this part. So I'll measure what I have here, 2 inches, and replace it there. I'll come to the waist line and divide my waist measurement by 4 and mark it down. Okay, then I'll also replace this dart intake. I have 2 inches, so I'll replace 2 inches. Okay, and I'll come to the hip line and mark my hip measurement. I have hip measurement of 39 divided by 4 will give me 9.75. I'll mark it down and I'll also replace this dart intake. What I'm going to do now is to connect all these dots. I'm going to come to the hemline and measure what I have here. I want my dress to be a little bit free at the hemline. So what I'm going to do now is to add extra 1 inch to whatever I have here. Okay, then I'll connect like so. This is my front block. My front block is ready. The next thing I'm going to do now is to create more lines here because I want to have my dress in pieces. Okay, so I'll measure what I have left here and divide it by 2. Okay, as the middle point. I'll also do the same thing here, and I'll do the same here as well. So I'll connect the lines. This is what I have. I have 1, 2, and 3 pieces. Okay, so that means I'll have 6 pieces at the front and 6 pieces at the back. Let's draft the back block. Mark my armhole curve. I'll come to the waistline and take my dart intake. So I'm taking 0.75 on each side of this dart, and I'll connect to the chest line. I'll take this dart down to the hip line. I'll come to the shoulder line and divide what I have left for my shoulder by 2 and connect to the chest line like so. I'll also mark down 0.75 at the waistline so that my zipper can lay flat at the back. Then I'll connect to the neckline as well as to the hip line. I'm going to be marking my bust, waist, and hip measurement. So I have bust measurement of 36 divided by 4, 9. And I'll come to the waist and mark the waist measurement divided by 4. And then I'll replace this dart intake. And I'll come to the hip line and mark the hip measurement divided by 4. Connect the points. Remember that we added extra 1 inch to the hemline. So I'll measure what I have here and add extra 1 inch. I have 9.75. So I'll add extra 1 inch to 9.75. Then I'll connect. I'll come to this point as well and divide what I have left here by 2 to create a new line. I have here as the first pieces, here as the second pieces, and here as the third pieces. So I'll connect my dart to the armhole. So for the neckline, I want to mark down half inch from my basic neckline. And then for the back, I'll also mark the same neck width I have for the front. So I'll be marking out half inch and I'll connect to that 1 inch. I want a high neckline at the back. This is what I have now. Sorry, I forgot to mark my side dart. So I'll be marking my side dart, which is 1 inch, because the difference between my front half length and the back half length is just 1 inch. So it's going to make the dress equal when I close it up. So let's cut. I want to close up the side dart. I'm going to be redrawing my lines. You'll notice that as I have closed up this dart, the back length and the front length will now be equal. Okay, I'll cut. So I have my front block here now. Let's cut the back block for this part for the zipper. Then the neckline, the shoulder, the armhole to cut off the darts. So this is my back block and my front block in pieces. So what I'm going to do now is to start cutting on my fabric. Remember, this is my waistline. This is my waist, my waistline, my waist. Just wanted to indicate my waistline because I'm going to be adding fullness to the down part of this dress. What I'm going to do now is to divide whatever I have on my patterns by 2 and create a line to my waistline because I want my dress to have fitting at the top. Then for the down part, I want it to be flayed. Okay. This is the fabric that I'm using for this project. It is a crepe fabric. I am combining the two colors. This is my back block. Remember, my back is in 3 pieces. So I'll go ahead and open up each part of these pieces and spread on top of my fabric. You can spread as wide as you want. Mine is 10 inches wide. If you have enough fabric, you can spread wider than mine if you want more fullness at the down part. So you need to cut out all the pieces and place on your fabric and spread exactly the same wideness that you have marked for the first one so that you can have equal and even wideness. The next thing to do is to mark down your seam allowances. I had to mark down ½ inch joining seam allowances on my first and second pattern pieces. Then for the center back, I went ahead to mark down my 0.75 zipper allowance. If you're using 1 inch for your zipper allowance, you can mark down 1 inch as your zipper allowance. So I went ahead to cut my pattern on my fabric. This is the number 3. You can remember this is number 3 and this is the side back. For the side back, I'm going to be adding side seam allowance. I'm going to be marking 1 inch for the side as the side seam allowance. If you want to add 2 inches to your side seam allowance, you can go ahead and mark 2 inches or 1.5. Okay, but for mine, I don't want a lot of allowance. I'll be marking only 1 inch. For the joining, I'll be marking ½ inch joining seam allowance. I'll go ahead and notch the waistline because I want to make sure that all the waistlines align. You can notice I did not add any hemming allowance. So it is important that you add your hemming allowance to your pattern before cutting on your fabric. Okay, so I'll cut the front block off camera now and show you guys. So I have cut the front block. This is the front block. I had to cut it exactly the same way that I cut the back block. So for the center front, I will be having joining at the center front. So I also went ahead to mark ½ inch for the joining and ½ inch for the darts. Okay. For the third pieces of the front, that's the side, I have 1 inch side seam allowance. Okay. just like I have 1 inch for the back side seam allowance. So I also went ahead to cut the other color of the crepe because I will be having one part of the crepe in a lighter shade of this purple. Okay, what I'm going to do now is to go over to my sewing machine and join all the darts with the 1/2 inch joining seam allowance that I just marked. Okay, so I went ahead to notch the waistline as the half length. I will make sure that the waistline aligns. Okay, I'm going to go over to my sewing machine now and join the whole pieces together, and I'll also fix my zipper for the back. Okay, so you can mark down the 1/2 inch before joining. So after joining all the pieces together, this is what it looks like. Okay, so this is the back block. I also went ahead to fix the zipper. While joining, I made sure that the notches align. Okay, so that you can have good fitting. I also open pressed the joining allowances. Okay, and the darts as well. So this is what it looks like. Can you see? So what I'm going to do now is to join the shoulders together. I'll also join the sides with the 1 inch joining seam allowance. So I'll mark the 1 inch down. I have gone ahead to stitch the sides of my dress with the 1 inch that I marked, both sides. Also went ahead to do the facing for the neckline. I use bias tape to do facing for the neckline as well as the armhole. Also hem the hemline. If I flip to the right side, my dress is ready. All I'm going to do now is to go over to my ironing board and give my dress a very good press as well as weave my dress.